Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, is calling for a major push in digital infrastructure, labelling robust and high-tech data centres as the backbone of Sarawak's economic future. He says continuous development and maintenance of these facilities are vital if the state is to keep pace with the world's rapid technological evolution.
Kita ada data center government one, tapi saya berapa umat data center tu. Sebab 5 tahun, 6 tahun obsolete. Nah, satunya makin karan banyak gila. Bulan makin karan, katakan 100 megawatt, bagus you. Mula aluminium 100 megawatt, banyak kerja. Ya, saya ada kerja lemari.
Speaking at the closing of the 2026 Protect Sarawak International Conference today, the Premier stressed that the integration of emerging technologies like AI grids is driving an urgent need for higher capacity, more efficient data centers to power the state's digital future. And with the rise of AI, the Sarawak government is highlighting the urgent need to bolster data protection. Abang Johari notes that while the digital transformation launched in 2017 has delivered significant benefits, it has also introduced risks that demand serious attention.
That is why Sarawak took the steps to enhance all the parameters of our digital economy, from retrieving data, protecting data, and use of data. The key here is use of data, because use, U-S-E, you can add M-I-S, misuse of data. And that is where you got problem when we abuse the technology and we misuse technology for certain objective. Some are for good, some are for bad. And that is where you have to find a crossroad between the two and a solution in order to get the good side rather than the bad side.
Right, U.S. lawmakers are set to grill Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as the Iran war drags on, with no clear exit strategy in sight. The high-stakes hearing comes as tensions escalate, with Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz and Washington responding with a sweeping military buildup. Global energy markets are already feeling the strain, with uncertainty from the conflict rippling worldwide. And for more details, we have Hendy Gui on the case.
Thank you, Yusuf. Hegseth appears before the House Armed Services Committee as part of a hearing on President Donald Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget request, with the war still unresolved and its economic fallout spreading globally. Lawmakers from both parties have expressed frustration over limited disclosures in classified briefings, setting the stage for a tense public hearing where top military official General Dan Kane is also set to testify. The administration has yet to outline a clear exit plan as Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz sends oil prices surging. Now, Washington responds with a blockade of Iranian ports and deploys 3 aircraft carriers to the region for the first time in over 2 decades. And as energy markets remain under pressure, Total Energies restarts its Satorp refinery in Saudi Arabia after damage from war-related airstrikes. The facility resumes partial operations in mid-April, restoring a significant share of its output. The restart offers modest relief to global supply, though disruptions from the conflict persist. With market volatility intensifying, gold loses some of its safe haven appeal as investors move to raise liquidity. Despite record highs earlier this year, demand falls as sell-off gains momentum. Analysts note gold is often the first asset liquidated during cash shortages. The Strait of Hormuz disruption, a key route for global energy supply, continues to drive market instability and forces investors to cover positions. Meanwhile, oil prices extend their gains as efforts to end the Iran war show little progress. The continued closure of the Strait of Hormuz and stalled negotiations heighten supply concerns, and markets stay on edge with crude prices rising for more than a week. The White House says it is reviewing Tehran's latest proposal to reopen the waterway, though President Trump remains skeptical. Iran puts forward a plan that could see mutual de-escalation, but key differences remained, particularly over its nuclear program. Washington insists any deal must prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, while Tehran accuses the U.S. of making unreasonable demands. Qatar warns the conflict risks becoming prolonged without a clear resolution. Amid rising global tensions, King Charles III calls for greater unity among Western allies in an address to the U.S. Congress. He warns that conflicts spanning Europe to the Middle East present shared challenges, and the message comes as differences emerge over how to handle the Iran war. Those divisions are further exposed as Donald Trump clashes with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. Merz questions Washington's approach, warning of a prolonged conflict without a clear exit strategy. Trump hits back, underscoring growing strains among Western allies. Adding to market uncertainty, the United Arab Emirates UAE announces it will withdraw from OPEC and OPEC+. The move signals a shift toward national priorities as energy pressures mount. The decision further complicates global supply dynamics already strained by the ongoing Iran war. Now that's all the recap for tonight. Back to you, Yusuf.
Thank you, Handi. Now, the death toll from a devastating train collision outside Jakarta on Monday has now risen to 16. And officials confirm every victim in the tragedy is a woman. A 25-year-old passenger died from her injuries this morning, marking the latest fatality in an accident that has left dozens more injured. The crash is sparking outrage over infrastructure safety in Indonesia, prompting President Prabowo Subianto to order an immediate nationwide overhaul of rail crossings.
Rescue teams spent 12 hours prying through mangled metal to reach survivors.
100% yang kita evakuasi perempuan. Adanya korban baik itu yang kita evakuasi dalam kondisi meninggal, hampir semuanya karena terjepit. Begitu juga korban, 5 korban yang kita evakuasi dalam kondisi selamat juga dalam kondisi terjepit material.
Prabowo has called the safety record unacceptable and is demanding accountability.
Kita segera akan mengadakan investigasi kejadiannya bagaimana, tapi secara garis besar memang kita perhatikan lintasan-lintasan kereta api ini banyak yang tidak dijaga ya, banyak tidak dijaga. Kita segera akan atasi.
The collision happened late on Monday near Bekasi Timur Station when a long-distance train slammed into the rear of a stationary commuter carriage. That carriage was a designated women-only coach, which was completely destroyed upon impact.
Back in Sarawak, the state immigration officials are strengthening enforcement after a massive sweep across Kuching leaves dozens in custody. 64 foreign nationals are now detained, following a series of raids targeting multiple sectors, from construction sites to local businesses. Authorities say the crackdown is part of an intensified effort to flush out undocumented workers and hold employers accountable. A team of 26 officers from the Kuching Immigration Enforcement Division carried out the day-long operation last Sunday. The raids began in Matang at a terrace housing construction site before moving to Moyan Square, where officials targeted premises suspected of running online gambling. As the operation continued into the night, enforcement teams moved into the city center. Officials confirmed the detainees are in violation of various immigration regulations, including working without legal permits. The department also issued a stern warning to local business owners, stressing that these raids serve as a deterrent against hiring illegal foreign labor. A retiree in Kuching is out more than 400,000 ringgit after falling victim to a sophisticated Hajj permit scam. Kuching police confirmed the 62-year-old man was lured by promises of special travel permits and lucrative investments in pilgrim accommodation. Kuching Police Chief ACP Alexan Naga Chabu says the victim first met the suspect in October last year at a restaurant near the clock towers in Mecca. The suspect allegedly promised to secure Hajj permits and offered an investment opportunity in hotel lodgings for the upcoming season. The victim realized the deception only after the promised services failed to materialize. In total, the man lost 415,000 ringgit. Authorities are now investigating the case under Section 420 of the Penal Code for cheating. Police are urging the public to remain vigilant against unsolicited overseas investment offers, especially those concerning religious permits. If convicted, the offenders face a mandatory jail term of up to 10 years, caning, and a fine. Police recommended using the Sema Mule portal to screen suspicious bank accounts before making any transfers. Now, the Finance Ministry is studying the implementation of a more targeted diesel subsidy mechanism similar to Budi 95 for Sabah and Sarawak. At a press conference today, Madani government spokesperson Datuk Fahmi Fazil says the matter is currently under review by the ministry before any decision is finalized. The move, he says, is aimed at ensuring subsidies are better targeted and delivered more efficiently without straining government finances. However, the proposal has not yet been discussed in the cabinet meeting. Meanwhile, Fahmi says there is no immediate need to reduce fuel subsidies as supply remains stable through May and June based on assurances from Petronas. The National Economic Action Council, M10, will continue to closely monitor global oil price movements amid ongoing trade uncertainties in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, on currency rates, the ringgit strengthened against the dollar but traded mixed against other currencies on Wednesday as the market remains cautious on the fluctuation of crude oil prices. Chief Economist from Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, Dr. Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid says the ringgit is expected to trade within a narrow range as the market await clearer signals on the situation at the Strait of Hormuz and the announcement from UAE exiting the Organisation of Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC and OPEC+.
Pergerakan mata wang ringgit dilihat bergerak dalam jajaran yang sempit iaitu sekitar RM3.99 bagi setiap dolar Amerika Syarikat. Perkara ini mungkin didorong oleh faktor seperti sikap yang berwaspada di kalangan para pedagang yang sentiasa memerhatikan situasi di kawasan Teluk, terutamanya peperangan di kawasan Iran, yang mana yang kita seperti sedia maklum sekatan di Selat Hormuz masih terus berlaku dan rundingan antara Amerika Syarikat dan di Iran dengan kerajaan Iran masih lagi dalam suasana yang begitu sama-sama tidak tahu apakah pengakhirannya.
At present, focus is given to the supply disruptions due to the ongoing conflict. Hence, Asfanizam opines that once UAE exits OPEC and allows supply to be back in the market, it will effectively affect the price positively. But this also is highly dependent on the development of the current war between Israel, the US, and Iran, where a truce has yet to be made.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. Thank you for watching. Good night and Assalamualaikum.